Welcome back everybody to Formula 1 Weekly, the weekly Formula 1 news show that's not been weekly at the moment. It's been a month since the last episode, ages, mainly because of testing, and last week as well I forgot to put up an episode. I was very busy, gutted about that. But we're back this week and it's sort of a fun week, sort of a packed week, but nothing too special. But as we all know, it's going to be kicking off this particular week, the following week, to this news show, because Formula 1's back, baby. This weekend, Formula 1 will be kicking off the brand new season 2018, Lewis Hamilton's title defence. Can he do it again? We will have to wait and see, but I'm buzzing. I think we're all buzzing now, and we're all ready for it to start. But still one more week to go, and still last week's news to cover. So let's just jump into it. Let's crack on. And the first story for this week is F1 have announced their first ever global marketing campaign, and it's a very specifically named thing, really. They claim it's something they've never done, and going through all the stories, there's not really a lot of substance to any of them, to be perfectly honest with you. So they've released a 60-second trailer all about the new season. A diverse group of super fans, as they're calling them, basically just being sprayed water at, hair dryers on, trying to make it look like they're driving the car. It's a pretty interesting little trailer. It's a bit of fun, and they've released a few bits and bobs on Instagram, on Snapchat, that sort of thing. But that's all it is, really. And I think this is definitely a marketing ploy by Liberty Media to try and say to everyone, look, we're going to do this differently to everyone else. We're going to utilise social media platforms, and that's what they're doing. And that's all this is, really. However, they're making it into such a big thing. It's interesting to see for sure. We've also seen as well this week some new screenshots of the graphics package, the new graphics package we're going to have this season for Formula 1. Here they are on screen now. A couple of these aren't new ones. The newest one we've had this week is the onboard shot of Lewis Hamilton, but I'm not a huge fan. But I'm sure it's going to be one of those things we're going to get used to. The logo, when it first came out, I think I was one of the only people that said I actually quite liked it. But even that, I was semi-optimistic. I wasn't 100%. Now I love it. Now I would hate to go back. I think the new logo is fantastic. But the graphics package, I don't know. With those dots next to the name, I don't think it's as clean, as slick as the old one. But who knows, like I say, we'll probably get used to it. And for new fans, they might find it a lot easier with the full names rather than just the abbreviated names. So we'll have to wait and see. And does that mean as well, on the new F1 games, will we have this graphics package? It would be nice to see, but who knows? I mean, in the big quote that they put up, the big article on the official Formula 1 page, they said they're going to be pushing out more GIFs, more Insta stories for the younger generation. And the exact quote for the use of Insta stories will be to enable viewers to unleash the campaign. It's a very corporate marketing slogan there. Something that, I mean, look, I just think this whole thing is very over the top. But that's what Liberty Media want to do. They want to bring a new lease of life into the sport, and you know what, I'm not going to mock it, I'm not going to complain. It's nice to see they're actually trying to do something, and I actually think what they're doing on Insta stories and stuff, just that engineered insanity, that's just something we've never seen with F1. I do think it's quite cool, to be perfectly honest with you. I just think it is definitely overhyped for a 60-second trailer and a few screenshots, but the graphics package, to see that, is very nice indeed. And that is the main story of this week. Moving on to still a pretty big story, especially if you're a veteran fan and you care more about the team and technical side of the sport. And that is that the FIA Deputy Director has joined Ferrari's technical team. Now, if you don't understand what that means, the FIA are the governing body that control the majority of motorsports within Europe and several across the world. However, one of their members of their directors has joined Ferrari F1 team, and this is something that is very controversial. Okay, so the guy who's actually joined Ferrari is Laurent Mekies, and he joined the FIA as a safety director in 2014, but has since become the deputy race director, in 2016. And what all that means, to break it down for you, is that he's responsible for all safety and medical issues throughout all FIA competitions and championships, as well as R&D and homologation. For Ferrari, his role is going to be a bit different, and he's going to be the head of their single-seater technical matters. Now, it's an interesting title. That is definitely 100% interesting, and whether that leaks over to Alfa Sauber as well is yet to be seen, but we will have to wait and see. But the reason this is so controversial is the fact that he's worked for the FIA, and it's a very personal thing on whether you think that's a bit dodgy, a bit unsportsmanlike. McLaren have come out and said it breaks a gentleman's agreement, the fact that F1 teams should not employ ex-FIA members, and it's something I don't think is a great thing for the sport. However, Ferrari are doing everything in their power to win their first Constructors' Championship since 2008 and win their first World Drivers' Championship since 2007. It's been 10 seasons now, and they want to do everything they can to make Sebastian Vettel their man to do it, and Kimi Raikkonen, if possible. Imagine what a story that would be if Kimi could win it this season. It's possible if Ferrari can build a fantastic car and Kimi goes back to his old self, but both scenarios do seem unlikely this season, unfortunately. And what do you think about this story? Is it a big issue, or do you just see this as Ferrari being ingenious and hiring someone who's going to give them an advantage? I don't know. I want to know your opinion. I'm a bit 50-50, but I'm leaning more towards it's a bit unfair, a bit unsportsmanlike, but it's just going to open the door for other teams to do it. So it's a shame, but hey, that's sport. So that's it for this week. I mean, really not a lot in the world of F1. And you might have seen as well that Formula E Weekly, in today's earlier video, I didn't leave it in the schedule. I forgot to explain why. And I'm going to do Formula E, I think I'm going to do a monthly show. So I dabbled with the idea of doing a Formula monthly, so I was going to cover what was coming up in the next month of the particular sport. But I didn't do it for starts. It was a bit too much at the time. I might consider, it's still an idea I'm playing with, but Formula E, for the past 4 weeks, there's been no bits of news except the actual races. And each week I'm just posing little questions in Formula E Weekly, and it's nothing really special. So I think for now I'm going to do a Formula E monthly and Formula 1 weekly. So that's the plan there. But if you haven't seen the schedule, that did come out earlier today, and you can go over and have a look at that. Formula 2, there was no news there. There's still 4 seats available until the season starts. Plenty of time for that though. And like I said, guys, this week Formula 1 is back, buzzing, cannot wait. Practice begins on Friday. It's 4 days away. Pretty much 3 days away now. It's mental. It's mental. Still no news about Force India either, whether they have rebranded or not. And if we're going to see that, it's going to have to be in the next couple of days. It really does. Because there's no way they can do the first race and then change. So expect to not see a change, I would imagine. I expect they're going to stay Force India for one more campaign and then finally do it. It's a bit of a shame because I did like the idea of rich F1 team. I thought it was quite cool, and the colour scheme, I would have welcomed black and gold considering I'm such a Lotus fanboy. But Force India, will this be their last season in Formula 1? Hopefully not, because in testing it didn't look great. They're going to be coming to Australia with a new car, so who knows what's going to happen there. But guys, that was this week's news in the world of Formula 1. Hopefully you have enjoyed. This will be a weekly episode, like I said. Australia this weekend, March 25th. Cannot wait. Like, subscribe, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.